Do not dry clothes at night.
Besok lah saya pakai baju seksi. Kamu orang kena polo-polo saya. Besok saya pakai baju paling seksi. Saya pakai bra saja besok.
That night, I had just come home from work. With a tired face, I stepped into the house, then walked towards my room. Just opening the door, I found an unpleasant sight. In the left corner near the bathroom door, there were dirty clothes piled up. Wearily, I took the basket, then carried it to the back. I let out a long sigh when I remembered that the washing machine at home was broken. There was no one in the house. My father and mother were accompanying Sis Nela in the hospital. Meanwhile, my brother-in-law was away from home. Like it or not, I had to wash it by hand. 20 minutes passed. I finished washing the clothes. I quickly moved the laundry into a bucket, then carried it to the terrace of the house. I felt a gentle breeze blowing through my hair. I hardly hung out the clothes. Damn it. Will these clothes dry or not? Lenny. I immediately turned around. I found Mrs. Darwadi standing at the gate of the house. Her hand was holding a plastic bag. Double quotes. What are you doing, Len? Asked Mrs. Dar W.A.T. hanging out clothes. Mrs. I answered a little shouting. Double quotes. Ellie and I don't hang out clothes at night, continued Mrs. Darwadi. I saw from a distance that her face was unfriendly. My eyebrows knitted together. Mrs. Darwadi is really something. Taboo? Seriously, in this day and age, there are still people who believe in things like that. Sorry, it's old-fashioned. Double quotes. Oh, Mrs., don't believe that. It's a hoax. You're being stubborn. Be careful if something happens to your pregnant sister. At that moment, I was stunned. Mrs. Darwadi's words seemed to poke my chest. I quickly approached her, intending to reprimand her so that she wouldn't say things that were not true. Double quotes. What are you talking about? What is the connection between hanging out clothes at night and my sister being pregnant? You don't know. I shook my head. Mrs. Darwadi took a deep breath. Every now and then I looked back. The clothes you hung out to dry at night could have Sibian attached to them. She could easily enter the house. Who is that, ma'am? I asked, pretending to be curious. Double quotes. Jin. Double quotes. Hearing Mrs. Darwadi's answer, I immediately laughed. I thought what Mrs. Darwadi just said was funny. You're laughing even though you're being told. Whatever. I am taking my leave and going home. Double quotes. Double quotes. Okay, be careful. Watch out for Jin. I teased. Mrs. Darwadi turned her head. She rolled her eyes, which I returned with a grin. What year is this? There are still people who believe in that. I continued my activities that had been delayed. After finishing, I went into the house. I didn't forget to lock the door. After taking a shower, I lay down on the bed, then pulled the blanket up to my chest. I yawned several times. Feeling sleepy made me want to fall asleep. Just as I closed my eyes, I heard footsteps. Tap. I woke up reflexively. I could no longer hear the sound, as if the sound had disappeared with the night wind. I looked around the room. Suddenly, the hairs on my neck stood up. I gripped the edge of the blanket, then lay back down, pulling the blanket to cover my entire body. Skrek. I jumped. The blanket felt like it was being pulled down. I tried to close my eyes. Again, there was a strong pull from below. I gasped. My heart was pounding. Cold sweat poured down my face. The sound of footsteps echoed again. I pulled the blanket up again. I gasped when I felt a hand touch my leg. A gulp of saliva wet my throat. I lifted the blanket, shocked to see my left leg. Isn't this blood? But how come? And is this the handprint of the person who touched my leg? But wait, there's no one in my room. Fear came suddenly. I shuffled backwards, seeing the blanket slowly being pulled down.
Next story to be continued.